Good afternoon, free enterprise fans, and welcome to another chapter in our Baron Heroes journey. My name is Vitasia. I'm joined on the mic by Enja Dave. How are you doing this weekend, Dave?
I'm doing great so far this weekend. I'm looking forward to this race. We're gonna let Rydia hit things.
Absolutely. It's Vampire Hunter Rydia. We're doing the meta at this point in time, Rydia must equip a whip the entire game. Now, we're going to be given a whip right out the gate, and we have to make sure that's equipped before any battles are started. So, this is going to be interesting because Rydia, not exactly known for her physical prowess, is going to be sitting there, a little bit nerfed here, but otherwise it should be a pretty straightforward seed, all things said, right?
It should be. I like the name convention going on. Judge Joe repping some Fire Emblem Engage, and Possum being more descriptive.
I appreciate that, Possum. He's just speaking the people's language right there, like Kekbai. I appreciate that for Edward.
Before we get going, we'd like
Um,
to give a shout out to behind the team's crew, or behind the scenes crew. Uh, we have Bad Karma restreaming, putting on the show for us, and the Courier Tracker, first time in the restream booth.
yeah, welcome to Curry. Always welcome to have new blood here helping us out behind the scenes. So let's go over these flag sets. So we have to forge, defeat the boss in Dwarf Castle, defend Fabul, liberate Baron Castle, and complete Cave Magnus. So everything is very much castle related, isn't it? We're going the Castlevania
Yep.
theme.
Now maybe we can get some nice Castlevania music for our harp song.
I mean, we can only hope. I don't think it's been programmed into this particular seed, but we've seen crazier things happen in these sorts
Yeah,
of. So
yeah. I remember the week we were doing Live Alive themes. The first seed randomly rolled Odiomus.
look, there's the board face AI is better than any chat PBT AI that's out there. All right, board AI, king of AI.
The, I'm thinking Castlevania songs. I know Bloody Tears is in the pool. I've heard that one come up before.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem because they always like to keep those things a surprise, so we never quite know what other songs are in the pool. But we are off to the races, and we do have a Sid start. Baron Key. Oh, and it looks like a Blitz Whip to start.
Uh, also choosing to leave the Sid behind. Joe takes the Sid. Concussed Gamer, I have no idea. I can only
They don't
confirm if
tell
things.
us that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can only confirm if things are in the pool if I've heard them. I don't have a master list, so
All
I
right.
can't prove a negative.
Looks like Possum wants to take a peek at what other characters are going to be around and get a little bit going, and is immediately equipping that Blitz Whip per the rules. I appreciate your stinginess to those rules. Does look like we have a Yang to start. Nice rune ring, which will help defray a little bit, get our Rydia a little bit powered up. Um, but otherwise, we are here. It is, not only the K main, but also K trap is turned on. None of the summon monsters are necessarily important, and none of the lunar bosses are going to be important, but all of the trap chests have a possibility of having
Oh,
that in there. Oh, that was.
that's a dragon whip. That's a nice hit from the waterfall.
Appreciate Judge Joe there also. It's like, okay, yes, I'm going to technically equip the Blitz Whip because I have to start, but already whip upgrade.
Yeah, that is the best whip we're going to see for a while.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier in the pre-race room where with Forge the Sword being one of the objectives, we should see a Mist Whip at some point, which will actually finally be beneficial to let Rydia actually cast magic. But until then,
the Mist Whip also has decent physical attack.
I think that's what Possum is doing right now. Like, he's hunting around. The key thing that I think would benefit everyone right now is a heroine robe, because if you have to have Rydia with a melee weapon, lean into it fully.
Agreed. Also, the plus 15 agility, very, very nice for overworld bosses. Like, a lot of these bosses would just never take a turn if your anchor is that fast.
Worth pointing out, and Possum is doing a very good job. K-Trap is on, but they're all going to be in their vanilla locations. So he is strategically just clearing out Eblin Castle for the gear and then moving on from there.
Right, vanilla trap location gives places with traps more value because they tend to be weighted higher because of the risk of finding traps. Remove the risk, you just have reward.
And then he's immediately turning in this Baron key. That was a pretty stacked. I saw strength rings, I saw Sork robes, lots of nice things that are sitting there.
I have a feeling that was a peak for a heroine robe.
Does look like that is a Dragon Whip on Possum's side as well. I probably picked it up somewhere in Eblin Castle, so we got a couple of Dragon Whipped Rydias that, for everyone who's a fan of let Rydia hit things, that is absolutely going to happen right now.
Uh-oh. Okay. That we could have had an appearance from Senator Crocodile, assuming this is Alt Gauntlet. Now, Joe's side, we have Wyvern, who is allergic to Dragon Whips.
Yeah, but not one-shot Dragon Whips, and it's the alternate, so it's not quite. But that Wyvern will take. Possum does have to reset out and says, I probably need more than level 1 to get through that, which I appreciate the attempt, Possum. I really and truly do.
Oh, is it no free key item? That might be why we took a quick peek in the Mist Cave.
It might have been. I also thought that Possum might have just like, hey, I need some levels before I go do this. Like, check the boss if it's an easy boss, do that, and get Rydia something other than level 1.
That was also a split XP boss, which not helping with the get some levels on the child. It honestly looks like the play Judge Joe made of grabbing the early Sid has been paying off just because Sid's a giant bundle of HP.
It's true. He's a damage sponge, especially early in the seed. Possum, meanwhile, so far so good in this early seed as well. I mean, he's certainly dealing out some damage right now on this karate fight, which Judge Joe has already done. I think the trip to Eblin Castle isn't paying immediate dividends for Possum, but it's going to pay off the further we get into this seed.
I would agree with that. We have an Octoman invading Fabul. I wonder if the Blitz Whip might be better here than the Dragon Whip.
I would imagine, yes. And Alchemy, yes, we already have Dragon Whips, but we started with the Blitz Whip, so we've already gotten our first whip upgrade. I don't know what that is in Castlevania, like some symbol to give us a slightly better whip.
Oh, so we get from... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, Joe does get through Fabul. It looks like right as Possum is getting ready to start Fabul. And we are rewarded with... Oh.
The Darkness Crystal. That does open up access to... Was that a curse string just randomly in a pot?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. That was.
So it was a terrible night, or a great night, to have a curse in Fabul Castle, it seems.
Well, and if this isn't the first rule of free enterprise that everyone will tell you, if you've been around, do your objectives. And hey, defend Fabul's an objective. It's not something to fade or hold off or do it, any way. Just do it, because that early Darkness Crystal is at minimum a character check up on the moon and a nice item check as well.
It also opens up access to 2 more trap chests.
Absolutely. Now, the trap chests up on the moon in the lunar subterrane are not part of K-Trap at this point in time, because the rest of the moon isn't necessarily going. But the 2 in, the hair dryers in the lunar path and the last arm chest in the giant are both part of that particular pool. So we can check both of those.
And we did start with hourglasses, so the hair dryers wouldn't be terrible.
Yeah, my only concern right now for hair dryers is surviving, because in order to launch out an hourglass, we have to survive at least 1 round of the melee attacks. And there's 4 of them, and right now I think they would one-shot our entire party.
It's a minor detail.
I mean, it's a minor detail, but at the same time, I think both of these runners are probably capable of figuring out a way around it. So,
honestly, if you find any sort of decent armor for Sid, he could probably tank a hit or 2. Like a samurai dragoon armor, slap him in the back row, he should be fine.
Absolutely. And Alchemy, I read it's great XP in the same voice as it's free real estate. The same voice. It's great XP.
Ooh, and that's the magma key from Baron, and so you're not fading that today.
No, absolutely not. That's our way into the underground. And I mean, here's the thing, okay, we have to do Dwarf Castle, which now is on the table. We have to liberate Baron Castle, which, by the way, we have the Baron key that's on the table. So we're 3 key items away from go mode already.
Of course, that means we could still be here for another hour if alchemists decide to bury them.
I mean, that's a detail. We'll worry about that in an hour when we say, remember back in 11 minutes when we thought we'd be fast?
Who could possibly have seen, Adamant Rock in, I don't know, the 2 mobile, 2 dark tree chest happening?
So, I mean, you do bring up an interesting point, because there's a lot of those trap chests. The Sylph Cave trap chest in particular are an interesting case study, and they can be done very quickly if you're set up with your agility anchoring properly. The problem is your agility anchor is set because it's Hero Rydia. We found that curse ring. I guess we just need another black mage to set up properly, which, ew.
You would need a Palom a Palom or a Fusoya to sweep.
I mean, Edge can do it a pinch.
True, Edge could take out the Ghost. I think a single Blitz is... Well, with some extra Wisdom gear, I think a Blitz is enough. But that requires you to have done the hook route.
True. Meanwhile, Joe is following his objectives and doing those. I appreciate that about you, Joe. Possum is going up to the moon to figure out, hey, what other characters is there any other firepower up here on the moon that I can grab?
And we have... I don't think that's the firepower we're looking for.
You say that, but knowing that, okay, he does opt to not take.
And Possum Morpheus is on the record as, loving him some Tella.
Absolutely, but he is certainly being picky at this point in time about what characters we're going to include at this point. I need to double check. Can we? Is it K-Buy so that we cannot retrieve those dismissed characters?
It is not C-Buy, so you can always go back to Tower of Wishes and grab characters. Okay, so may just bench the Tella until after finishing ordeals. Not a terrible idea. You don't want him just taking empty turns.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, we had that Bahamut fight that Judge Joe just showed. Also picked up just a random Gungnir. That's not a horrible weapon if we happen to run across a certain Dragoon.
Also a pretty good one-shot weapon if you run across a ninja.
So we've seen Wyvern, now we see a Bahamut, which isn't a dragon, by the way, but now we see Pale Dim, which is a dragon. For having a Dragon Whip Rydia, we sure are running across a lot of dragons early, aren't we?
I'm not upset about this. We're letting Rydia hit things.
This is the ultimate seed if you're a fan of letting Rydia hit things. This is the flag set that you want to play all the time if you want Rydia to hit things. This is
fine. Okay, this is less fine. We are through. What's less fine is that Rydia just took about 9,000 damage from a CPU on Judge Joe's side.
Globe 199, and then Sid did that as well. So we're gonna get both the CPU bits back.
Orb grind, right?
Yeah, sure. Orb grind. That's what it is.
This is all planned.
Possum eking out, and I think he realized how lucky he got there, and he's like, yeah, no, I'm saving.
Porum had 4 more HP than she needed to get through that.
Any more HP than you need, that is a waste. You just need 1 HP to live, right?
Exactly. As is said in some other games, the only life point that matters is the last one.
Okay, so that's a Sand Ruby. That's another character that we might check.
And a relatively free boss at the top of, or in the changing room. And with Rydia at this level, they were all going to be relatively free.
There's absolutely a Frankenstein type monster somewhere in the Castlevania lore, right? There's got to be.
Yes, there is.
Oh, that's an unfortunate sleep.
Swing a whip is hard work. Rydia needs a nap. You see Judge Joe still swinging away at the CPU, has decided to abandon Plan Q. I don't blame him one bit.
Well, and this is an instance of, yeah, we can get through this boss, but we can get through this boss probably faster later. But it'll be interesting if this ends up paying off. We know we can already do Dwarf Castle, and this is Liberating Baron. So if this ends up, for example, being the Twin Harp, and it's just launching, everything is just falling into place for Judge Joe, I think this is a great play. But this particular boss, just taking as long as it is I think this is going to hurt Joe in the long run, unfortunately.
Chad pointing out the Frankenstein's monster type creature is just called the Creature.
Oh, see, I don't play Castlevania games, so thank you.
And one more swing from Rydia should end the attacker.
Okay, so we got our...
mage.
You know what? That's the superior white mage.
Judge Joe's decided that, yes, I will go double white mage. So Joe's party is not clear. There's the value from doing ordeals.
Yep, absolutely. I'll take it.
That's a snap take. So we were talking about sylph traps. There is your way through.
Already got some decent magic going, and Judge Joe just rewarded with the package, unfortunately, which that's something we really want to do.
We're not cruel. We're not going to have Rydia burn down her own hometown.
So the question really becomes, Possum is now set up reasonably well, and this is where he might, it looks like he's probably going to be taking a couple extra bosses just to get this foo powered up.
Yep, this makes perfect sense. You get a foo, you start taking all of the quick, easy bosses, you want firepower on him.
Mr. Bus Driver, don't you go putting that evil out into the world. That would be horrible and fantastic if we captured it on Restream. So,
Karma pointing out, Fu has fire too, so he already has firepower. Thank you, Karma. I asked for that. Yes, swag rocks. Swag rocks.
when in doubt, swag rocks. Looks like Joe is says not only we'll do the character check up here and do all the other checks, but I'm good to go on this K trap that's up here in the hairdryer chest. And I think he probably is. After doing Baron Castle, can probably survive a hit or two.
We might see some swag rocks come up when Possum gets to the CPU as well. evil, putting evil into the world, I'll be talking about the flying heads from Castlevania.
No, 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 no.
You too have memories of getting knocked off platforms by those things.
Look, there's a reason I don't play Castlevania games. That may or may not be the primary reason. So, Wyvern, yep, Posomorpheus is gonna go. This hairdryer, though, this should be relatively straightforward.
And unfortunately, I believe the hairdryers are immune to instant death, so you can't just assassin dagger them. Also, you would need someone as part you can use the assassin dagger. I guess that's kind of a sticking point.
That's right, not a single character can use the assassin dagger.
Yeah, 'cause the only character capable of wielding it is stuck on whip duty all seed.
Look, I may not know a whole lot about Castlevania lore, but I do know he can throw knives, right? Like, that's a thing he can do. I play Smash Brother.
Close enough. We are getting some life glitching going on over here, which is nice.
Anything
also,
to get the experience really rolling on that side. 53, wow.
and that was the hook. Not necessarily someone we're looking for, but that would represent a character check if we didn't have a full party. Represents the shops, which might be the more important thing. Also, 2 more key item checks. We both remember the hook gives key item checks because I think both of us have forgotten it at some point in Tango.
Yeah, there's 2 key item checks there with the hook. So while we already have the Magna Key, it's still a worthwhile item to get, which is nice to see. Let's see. Oh, Joe says, by the way, I'm not done with those moon checks.
This could work. Swap to. Before I say something incorrect, I want to look it up. Character data, Rydia, equipment. Okay, the Blitz Whip is not strong versus machines.
Yeah, I think I remember that because I always remember that no weapon that can actually damage machines is available when machines are vulnerable to them. Or something like that. It's like hammers that we never get.
I think the only thing is, like, when you're climbing Babel and Vanilla, you could have a Thunderclaw if you kept one. And you can use a Thunderclaw on last arm because you'll have edge by then.
Yep, absolutely. Although, as I recall, yeah, I would ditch when I was a kid, I would ditch the Thunderclaw early on for things like the Charm Claw. What a noob I was.
The Charm Claw gives agility. That means it's good, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, Mr. Just trying to point out you always had access to lit arrows, so you had mech slaying gear.
Meanwhile, Possum, armed with a nuke-wielding Fusoya, is going to make quick work of everything that just happened. Although this CPU fight is not going to be quite as straightforward, but we have Meteo.
Yeah.
So
I think we could just throw some rocks at the computer and it goes away.
yeah, Makura, thank you for its Vampire Hunter Rydia. So just the meta objective for these runners is they must make sure that a whip is always equipped on Rydia. And all of our objectives are about liberating castles and doing various castle exploration and diving. So
Just a siren from last arm. I agree with walking the siren out. It's not a key item, but you're going to have to sit through the cutscene to bring the whale back down anyway, so it might be slightly faster to warp out even from that room. I'm a little sad we didn't get a peek at the element spot. Maybe there was some nice mist waiting there for us.
now you're putting evil out into the air.
You don't like 65k of D-Mist?
No, that would be absolutely horrible. What are you talking about? I mean, I guess as long as we're sitting here talking, it's not like we have a tango race that we're supposed to do afterwards or anything.
It's fine. Saw a little bit of muscle memory. Joe was like, yeah, I want to get the... Wait, I don't need treasure down there.
I mean, yeah, I think those of us who have been in the community for more than a year have developed a muscle memory on some part of this game. Like, oh, nope, no, I don't need to check treasure, or, trying to immediately cast Warp when you're in Dwarf Castle when, oh, Warp Glitch is turned off now.
Karma, don't say that. After calling my shot on the spoon last run, I'm due for some curses.
Look, that just means we know where everything is, so we should be good, right?
Exactly.
Right? But in the meantime, Judge Joe, on his way, going to be the first to give us our peek into... Ooh, that's a stacked cave Evelyn shop. That's...
Coffins and Bacchus. Which one do we want more of? And
well, with melee Rydia.
The good news is we know we can hawk pretty much all the melee weapons.
We're drinking lots of wine.
The Flame Dog chest. I'd forgotten about you. Just an edge weapon from that.
This has been a very magic-heavy party. I mean, even Rydia, who is doing her best Castlevania impression with the whip, is still like primarily, a magic user. So it's been very strange up to this point in time.
Does appear we're going to start getting our underground checks. I have to assume Pos Morpheus is shopping for a cursed ring. Which would make perfect sense, because that allows you to set up RA1 food to quake through the Sylph.
Yeah, but we saw that just in Judge Joe's inventory right there. It was available just kind of in a, like we said, a random pot there in Fabul that a lot of people don't check.
Now we get to the worst trap chest in the game.
Look, you only say that because it's cost us several wipes over many, 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 many runs.
Yes, your point.
It's like, you only say that because it's true. Well, yes, that's the point.
I know the Fu has Quake. Does Fu have Stone as well? Because if so, yep, there's Stone. So, okay.
Who has almost everything at this point?
Yeah. So when Possum gets the Mad Ogres, how many Santa Claus Stones are we gonna miss?
Probably only one. I put my faith in center slot stone casting. I mean,
The Tower Key from the Staleman. That pretty good pickup.
still looking for those 3 key items, so any place that has a key item, and incentivizing going to the tower with those 4 trap chests anyway. I got to imagine that Judge Joe, that'll be just about stop number 1 once he gets there. Oh, hi, Cecil. I would really like to take you.
Problem is, our party is full. We'll see what the Blackout Lamia chest gives it. Well, that power trick could let Rydia hit things slightly harder. Okay,
Yeah,
I went with 2 misses.
2 misses? Okay, I got 1, you got 2.
Apparently today was 0.
And yeah, it's perma-joined at this point in time. So Cecil is gone. That's part of the reason why Possum did not take Sid to start off with. He says, hey, the only, one of the primary reasons you take Sid anyway, I mean, he's good early game, but then in late game, he's only good as an anchor. And you already got your anchor.
Yeah. Answer question, chat. Fu was in Kaipo, Sandruby is on Ordeals. And as we saw from the fact that Cecil was in TKC form on Joe's side, Joe has decided to fade Ordeals.
It makes sense given the flag set, and there's no other incentive to otherwise go up there. Oh, that's a rat tail.
Yeah, you gotta walk that out.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm happy about walking it out because you don't know what it's going to be, but you got to.
Yeah, you cannot just reset out of a key item check. Plus, it's 1 more for the pile.
All right, so looks like Dwarf 1 is going to be the Dark Imps fight, which interesting.
Is it? Could be elements.
Yep. Oh, you're right. Okay.
Just because little quirk of the color palettes, the dancing Mylon sprite has a red rope here.
Nope, you were right, but luckily I called it correctly. So
Lucky.
no egg on my
lucky
face.
for the run- Not so lucky for the runners. This spot punches. As you see by the fact that Rosa is taking a little nap.
Yep, everyone took a hit except for the one old man that could probably actually take the hit.
Board AI at its finest.
So I'm saying best AI on the internet.
There was some part of me that wanted to see Eddie get kept just because of the name.
I think Alchemy makes a good point here. You know, Possum has been a longtime member of the community, and a lot of us kind of know his play styles and strengths. He does like to get his party set early, grind early, and then kind of sweep through the rest of the game. Here, because of the party dynamics and making sure that everything is set up properly, you know, with permajoin, he's kind of switched his gameplay around and making sure that he's only taking the party members he knows. He's not getting his party set relatively early and not doing any early grinds. He's kind of letting the seed come to him in this sense. We saw him struggle a little bit early on because he had only a level 1 Rydia, but again, as we say, 39 minutes into the seed, he's on a great path at this point in time and has his third objective done.
Right, we are still looking for the Twin Harp, and both has a forge. Well, half a forge.
That worked, Glitch.
I think we're going to see some shopping maybe for Sirens, along with still Curse Ring hunting. Someone in the chat pointed out Possible knows how to run a small team too. I'm fairly certain something Adamant Cup champion, where we had 4 character teams.
Yeah, something Possum good. Okay. I mean, Judge Joe is also very good as well. Like
Yes.
there's no getting around that as well. Both of these are very, very high quality runners.
Both these runners fantastic at the game. Although I do believe we need to boo Possum a little bit for going into the job dwarf's room and not checking the dwarf.
But memes are okay. Like, they're not for everyone. It's okay. All right, so now Judge Joe has done pretty much everything he can except go into the underworld. He does... Oh, looks like he's fine. He's going to go turn in this rat tail. But other than that, yeah, he's done everything until going into the underworld.
Oh wow, you found this amazing rat tail. Have an axe.
Is back row glitch turned on?
I don't know.
Yes, back row is turned on. Thank you, Alchemy.
Thank you. Yeah. MP glitch is also on, which would be interesting with the Fusoya. It looks like we have everything but dupe and 64 glitch.
And no one wants to see the 64 glitch. That's just not compelling gameplay.
That could be the analog to going out of bounds in Castlevania.
And Kanban Meow, you still have so much to learn about the game. I tell you what, the best way to learn about this game, join us over on Discord. Plug. It's the best way to learn about the game and interact with other people who run the free enterprise randomizer in any way that you want. Beginners, newbies, however you want.
Well, unless someone's checked the moon shop, I believe we are running no sirens this seed.
Yeah, we did check that shop, didn't we? So it's you. Oh yeah, Joe has one. You're absolutely right.
This is the seed of no sirens. One is allowed.
As predicted, Joe is immediately coming here to tower, which I appreciate because again, there's four trap chests, and then there's 2 key item checks here. Between that and then doing Dwarf Castle, maybe I would have done Dwarf first, but we will have a very good idea of exactly what else we have to do after this.
With that rest, I think we're about to see some sylph traps. These are fun without proper anchoring.
Oh, and already we're running into inventory issues. That's probably that's not good. You want to make sure to take care of your anchoring or your inventory situation before you do sylph, because there's a lot of treasure chests here. A lot.
Now, the good news is we only have to open exactly 7 of them. Now, there's a key item hidden in the tower. It's the spoon. Useful for eating ice cream and not much else with this party.
Another one for the pile, though. That's 8 key items on Joe's side.
While the spoon flag is on, that requires you to take the Edward. Eddie really doesn't fit in with this party.
Meanwhile, there's a Bahamut that Possum does pick up. With our required Rydia, we'll take that. That's cool. We'll do.
Oh no! Do you see what I just saw in the cannon room?
No.
It's 3 blue robes.
No. Well, we thought this was going to be fast, but...
Yeah, this will be quick. It's only 600 HP here. No, it's not.
This might be... Because we talk about the worst spot for the gauntlet. And I know the presumption is always like someplace on the moon because of the unique enemies that are up there and like the single fatal eye or anything else that's going on. Or the evil masks. But when it comes to time investment compared to what you normally fight, this might be the single worst.
This one's pretty bad. Agreed. I would throw back attack on that list too, because sitting through 7 zombie punches at one point, and they all get to punch before you because of back attack.
Yeah. But this is a sneaky bad spot for it. You can't convince me otherwise.
Oh, I wouldn't try. I see Phosmorpheus is opening the Holy Sword Emporium. I think we see a pair of Excaliburs come out of here.
I mean, he hasn't ditched that Cecil yet, so it's entirely possible he can still make do with those. He hasn't seen the hook, which is somewhere.
It's from the hairdryers.
I mean, we've seen it. We've seen him, Alchemy. He's just kind of hanging out there in Eblin Cave. But I don't know if Possum is going to get there.
Now we're getting a good grind going on this party from Sylph too.
Trap chests are always a good kind of emergency grind to at least get folks up to respectable levels before you do like a moon check or whatever.
And Judge Joe threw that gauntlet.
Possum gets his Bahamut summon. Looks like he had 2, but says, "Oh yeah, right."
2 of the chests down in the Poison Trade we've had Bahamut orbs.
And there have been no key items, nothing that's available up to this point in time.
But the good news, we're through the Poison Treasury. And, hey, it's pass. That seems useful.
I mean, yes, because that means we're not, I mean, of all things, that means we don't have to do the Lunar Walk, but at the same time, that's all we got from Sylph. That and a bunch of levels, which, I mean, okay.
Was that Golbez up there? No, it's a turtle. Okay. I just saw the blue paladin then right in the menu. Oh, who's ready to play Toad RNG?
Toad Roulette, everyone. Also, you cannot convince me that this spell was named Toad and not Frog simply because they wanted to reference another Mario character for the SNES, because this was on the SNES.
I can see that. Oh, Toad Lady's got the goods.
Yep, there's that twin harp. Okay. One more objective to do.
And I'll be pointing out no healing or floating before that fight because Toad Lady. Toad Lady can't actually kill you. Well, unless you hit her with a power staff, but well, that's on you.
And immediately turning in Sheila 1, dropping a quick save, because if it's nothing, we'll reset out. But check in here, because really, at this point, the only key item we're looking for is Adamant. We are 1 key item away from go mode.
And meanwhile, Judge Joe is picking a fight with this turtle. I like the tower play here. It's a bunch of key items, but that is go mode. That was the adamant rock from Sheila 1.
Absolutely. So the lower babble is a complete rabbit hole trap. Everything that Judge Joe is doing right now is 100% optional.
And with how many key item checks here, and with Sylphgate being a bit rude and not having the Fusoya to sweep, I think Joe made exactly the right play.
Yeah, and I agree. It's one of those situations where it's the statistically correct play, but it's not the right play for this seed because it's rando.
It's not even statistically correct. Joe's party is going to have a nightmare getting through those chests because Joe is no good sweeper. There's no good AoE to get through the ghosts with this party.
I mean, Sid's got an Earth Hammer. That totally is Quake, right? Right?
Okay, fair. The tiny toads have no HP, so true. The totally would be a quick fight, and that's the one that matters. But I can see why Joe would be fading that for now, just to try to find, maybe try to stumble across Leviathan or Bahamut Orb to speed things up. So I do agree with the tower play given this party. It wasn't the play this seed.
Yep, absolutely. And more importantly, I mean, look at Possum. He's already set up after doing all of those poison steps. The party's already half dead. So really setting himself up nicely for a combo here. As we get music from DJ Spoonie B.
So if you're going to take a full party of mages and ask, what's the worst possible fight that could show up in at Twin Harp, you were looking at it.
Yeah, we were talking about it in the chat. Perfect magic defense, and it's already a high magic defense spot anyway. And then you add the Val spin to it. Oh, that was. We got through the entire song twice. So, yeah.
And the only way you can deal magic damage here is if you have the HP based J items, because they ignore magic defense calculations. So I guess if you had like a firebomb, a blizzard, a lit bolt, and have food throw them, you could do decent damage. Aside from that, it's let Rydia hit things.
All right, and here Possum is saying, okay, I have to stop by and get my final party member because I've not found anything else worthwhile, and says I'm going to go ahead and pick up a Karate Man.
Was that the Luca key from the harp?
Yep, I believe it was. So, not that we're going to turn it in because.
Nope. Well, we already got the item from there. And even if that hadn't been a key item, the crystal we're about to pick up would be number 10 anyway. So we might be seeing a quick D-money after getting the crystal.
Do you want to do D-money, or hey, we got the Luca key, I'm down for a door grind.
And to the surprise of absolutely no one, we get a mist whip.
All right, so an hour in, and we have our crystal. I think the thing we're missing right now is levels, though, realistically. Like, we have a party that's clearly set up for reflex strats. We have 2 white mages, a black mage, and a foo, plus a single karate man who would be fantastic at reflecting nukes off of.
Yeah, what this party uses levels, and without sirens, the next best place to get them is on the giant. Or we're setting up for the grind now.
We have found no gear on Possum's side. This is hilarious. We got some life staffs. We're wearing leather gear and caps, and oh my goodness.
Yeah, as I was pointing out, the Mist Whip is really good. Like, 100 attack power, so you can hit things with it. As we learned in last season's 5 Rydia seed of this club, where we also had a Rude Valvalis, and the best play was to have Rydia hit things with Mist Whip. In that seed, it was Valid Crystal Sword, which also gets perfect magic defense.
Yeah, it does look like that Possum is currently setting up for that demist, getting everything going, resetting, and then, yeah.
That is 2 which is 2S. So we're gonna see possibly take 2 more encounters on the blue planet right inside of Baron. Alchemy, never apologize for rolling dumpster fires. We appreciate them.
Correction. We appreciate them when we're on this side of the microphone. If we have a controller in our hands, then that's another story.
I was on the controller side of that dumpster fire. I still appreciated it. Yeah, so setting up the D Machine Grind here, Possum took 2 steps after saving, which, according to the chart, is phase 2S. So you saw 2 more counters being taken. Now he's going to go to the Giant, go to the save point room, and turn counters back on.
Let's see, that chart was created, I think, originally by community member Twisted Flax. There was a point in time where we built out, we wanted to say, hey, try to minimize the number of D Machine grinds that was going out there. So, but then they created the step chart, and for whatever reason, like we're still doing the D Machine grind. So,
this happened. They tried turning on E Can't Run, so you wouldn't be able to just take encounters on a Giant and run away from them. Set it up. So we create a step chart that sets it up outside Baron, where even if you can't run, the encounters are nothing. If you see Judge Joe going to the Toad Lady chest, we know this is the major value down here.
Yeah, this is the first check, and it'll be interesting because this will... Gosh, if he ends up following this and hoping for the Adamant Rock, I mean, he's not going to get the Adamant per se, but this is... I don't know. Do you make the call after this?
Of what, doing Twin Harp or?
Yeah, doing Twin Harp. Of saying, hey, the other chests are a little bit further down and out of my way anyway. Do I follow my objectives?
I would say yes. Shmoo, I could see trying that, but who knows what else that would break. So I'm thinking with this party and with 10 key items in life, we're going to see probably 4 or 5 D machines with life glitches. I think 5. Might just do 6 to make sure you get there.
Just for safety purposes. Oh, and knocking down our beefy guy.
I think that's just to get him out of the queue. And he is kind of slow compared to everyone else. That may just be to make the turn order more consistent. We're gonna get a pigtail turn in, which gives us
money. That's all that is right at the moment. That's money.
I guess a white shirt would have been useful for this party.
I mean, we've clearly seen, we have a sorcerer robe, a single sorcerer robe, although we know they're available for sale in Baron Inn or Baron shops. But otherwise, yeah, like we've been rocking, leather gear on our Porum and Rosa for most of this seed.
And Joe is about to find out the good news that he is in go mode. Although having not cleared out the poison treasury will not have the pass.
That's true, but I think unless you know exactly where the pass is right now, that's a time save.
No, you just go. If you don't know exactly where the pass is, you just walk the LST. Walking the LST if you're starting from getting in the whale, it's about 4 to 5 minutes, I think, to get to the Z fight. If you're taking more than one check to find the pass, you're spending more than 4 to 5 minutes.
Oh, absolutely. So.
Pour him down by exact damage on Possum's side. That's the danger of being a multiple of 5 when you have 20% HP attacks coming out.
I mean, look at how close that all is right now. 30104. That's about as close to riding that line as I think I've ever seen someone do.
I've got the whole party up. And we're going to end the grind here. That looked like that was 5. Oh, that was 6. 1.04 million XP on this party. Yang is going to be a very, very beefy boy. He's getting a slingshot off of this.
Yeah, we're going to put a wall on Yang and never worry about healing him at all, ever.
To answer a question in chat from the Hangry Canuck, you cannot use the life staff for the glitch. It can only target party members.
I think you can target other people, but it just won't work.
Right, that's more simple. I think that's correct. I do know it doesn't work on enemies that tried it.
Oh yeah, I've tried it too.
We are getting a reprise of the Super Mario World credits. Yeah, having the actual melee character makes that a lot faster.
Absolutely. In the meantime, we're on our way to Zeromus. The pass is our back door all the way to the lunar subterrane. There's the Z flags, and so here's what this means, because we don't have a whole lot of time. We're a randomizer community. We like to randomize things. We randomize the songs. We randomize all sorts of things. But the one thing we cannot randomize is the Zeromus sprite, because Zeromus, Zeromus can't be randomized into the pools. He has too many special things. And Big Bang in an antlion cave would not work too well. So what do? We randomize his true color. So when we use the crystal, it changes. There are more than 600 different forms for Zeromus to have. So the question of the Z flags is, whose butt are we going to kick tonight?
That was well said and rapidly said.
I might have a little bit of practice saying that really, really fast.
Magic Karma. It's afternoon somewhere.
Look, I live in New England. It's already getting dark, all right?
You're not wrong about that. Yeah, answer a question, chat. Why did Possum take or swap whips? I think was trying to get the 28 agility on Rydia. And that's the explanation for that is a bit longer than short version. Agility is black magic, and it would be a multiple of 14 that is not actually 14. I would say this is a cute butt. How about you?
It's a virus. By definition, it has no butt. It has no excrement orifice at all, so there's no butt to be had.
But these are Mario World viruses. Who knows what their anatomy really is?
That's true. I guess we don't want to know the anatomy of most characters in the Mario universe. But let the reflex strats begin, for sure.
Everyone casually walking off that Big Bang. Yang takes a fairly high roll from a Nerf Big Bang and just, and casually dusts his shoulder off.
I mean, that's the monk prototype, though, right? You high HP, almost no armor, but I will shake everything off.
Yeah, your defense is that HP pool.
Meanwhile, Judge Joe is on his way, has to do the lunar subterrane, but never stopped, even on his trip up to the moon the first time to do the hair dryers, never stopped to check the character, so has to stop through this cutscene, unfortunately.
And hopefully this white, there it is, right before the second Big Bang.
Crash, boom, bang, and Possum clears at 155 or 115 and some change here. GG's to Possum.
That's finishing first on Restream and first overall.
Let's see if Possum is willing to chat with us a little bit after this run. Really kind of an interesting seed. And, we are joined now. Almost.
Blame Discord.
I always blame Discord.
Well, we were joined for about a second.
Hey. More than that, I appreciate Judge Joe using his one siren right here.
Let's get us
sounds like.
Let's get us a nice 180K.
Yep. Meanwhile, it does sound like now we are joined by Possum Morpheus. GG, sir.
Thank you. GG's. Appreciate you, Alchemy, putting another Val in an awful place. Thank you, friend.
I was going to ask you about that. About perfect max defense Vals with an all mage party.
I mean, part of that is my own doing because I prefer to play mages, so it's never gonna not bite me.
I was gonna ask you a little bit. The early game was a little bit slow going for you. You opted to ditch the Sid that normally could help propel you through the early game, and was just rocking a level 1 Rydia without much gear there to start. What I mean, was that just knowing that by the end game Sid's not really going to be useful, so you didn't want to keep him, or what was your thinking behind that?
It's kind of a confluence of events that line up against Sid on this flag set. T-Pro means you're not going to find things that would help him, like Crystal Rings, Artemis Bows, to make him fast enough to do anything. You're also unlikely to find things like Rune Axes, any of his like real high tier weaponry. You are either going to have to buy via like the Forge shop or spend an arm and a leg where you could be spending it on like impactful gear. Yang is a little different because if you get Cat Claws, he's speedy enough, he keeps up and all that. But both of them were just kind of like, I don't really appreciate either of you. I'd like a Zerker that can equip weapons that I can either find and are good, or just rock mages and feed them full of levels. So, mages, they always have access to, like in Rydia's case, a Dragon Whip. All of the ladies have access to a Heroine Robe for the plus 15 agility. Fu is just Fu. I debated taking Tella early on, but also he's super slow, even having MP glitch on for Medio. Like, I'd still rather find a better option if I can, and Fu happened to be that better option. I was very happy to see Fu just absolutely seed and game defining, getting him early on there.
Yeah, we saw the power spike you picked up. You got as soon as you picked him up.
Yeah, I mean, he let me clear things a lot more efficiently than bonk bonk pour him and whip it good Rydia we're gonna do. So if it wasn't
overall...
gonna be, oh sorry Vitasia, if it wasn't gonna be Fu, it would have been Tella. Just for the record, to make use of Medio. Go ahead, Vitasia. Sorry.
No. I didn't want to interrupt you. I apologize. I was just going to ask, what's your overall thoughts? So this is kind of an interesting flag set with the meta objective of making sure that Rydia always has a whip. And, we do appreciate like the immediate landing in Baron and putting the Blitz Whip on immediately as well. So, but just kind of what unique challenges did this end up posing for you?
I mean, the biggest thing is just early on, if you find a good summon, you can't really make use of it because you can't give her any wisdom gear. So that's why, I didn't even bother checking East Hobbs or West Hobbs or whichever side of Hobbs. Directions are hard, reading is hard. Whichever side of Hobbs has a summon, because she's just not going to have the gear to support it. That's kind of the big challenge. Late game, it's not really too bad because you're going to get a Mist Whip, and that's a Stardust Rod on steroids, so that's not a bad pickup at all. Dragon Whip is great if you can find one, which I was fortunate to find. It gives a plus agility, but other than that, the whips are just bad. I found out in practice, Blitz Whip doesn't even hit a machine weakness on the eyeballs in Lower Babel. And I was like, wait, really? So they just leave a whole lot to be desired.
I'm trying to think what else we saw from you.
Yeah, I think the problem is the seed ended up being very straightforward. All said.
Mm-hmm.
I did have one question regarding your routing. Silk traps versus tower. Is there a thought of going up there, or was it just the Fu that drove you to Silk first?
just have no way to deal with the tower traps outside of nuke, which is just obscenely inefficient or weak. Same deal. Again, that all kind of goes back to learning that Blitz Whip doesn't actually hit machines. If it hit machines, I would do that, but it doesn't. So Sylph seemed a little more appetizing. It was levels. It was, chance at more gear. I know that the ghosts are harmless, even though they get 6 attacks. I can never die to that fight. Breath can't hit because Fu had a rune ring to prevent mute. So, they're very safe trap chests. In the grand scheme of things, they're just kind of slow, whereas the tower is slow and way, way less XP. So, it's just... I don't know. Not a fan of tower trap chests if I don't have a way to one-shot them. And this is something I learned from Fu Wario, against all people Judge Joe, that I lost a Fu Wario race to him because he could efficiently clear tower chests and I couldn't. So one of those things where you kind of learn over time, what your optimal play is given your party. Even though Sylph is not optimal without RA1, it's still to me better than tower. So that's why we went that way.
Makes sense. And incidentally, I just learned that the Rune Ring gives mute immunity.
Yep, helps against breath. Headbands also giving the charm immunity. Anything that picks up one part of breath will stop all of breath, and that's the important thing.
And to someone in chat earlier who's saying they've got a bunch to learn about this game, I just learned something new in this interview.
Well, glad to help. I do hope everybody enjoyed the fading of the Job Dwarf. Shout outs to Rex Raul. Awesome suggestion there, but always going to fade it for the memes. And I also hope everybody enjoyed the apple on the Yang, who already had more HP than God. I thought that was fun.
It was good.
One must meme in Baron Hero's journey. That is something that we've kind of come to do every single week. So a little bit of memeing here and there never hurt nobody.
I mean, I will never argue against memes, especially when you disappoint a large number of people for not checking Job Dwarf. That
Right?
makes our job easy on this side.
I mean, I'd have faded Harp, but it was an objective, so
Yeah, you were forced into that one.
But anyway, I'll let y'all get back to the rest of the race. Appreciate the comms, Dave and Vitasia. A wonderful Troy and Tango partnership and a wonderful commentary duo. Nakuri, thank you so much for the tracking. Good to have you on the Restream team. And Bad Karma, as always, thanks for the behind-the-scenes work. So I hope y'all have a great rest of your weekend, and I'll catch y'all later.
All right. Thank you so much again. That was Possumorpheus, our winner here today in the Vampire Hunter Rydia Baron Hero's Journey. It looks like Judge Joe is doing a bit of just taking random encounters right now for a grind because, again, sirens weren't otherwise available, and his party is not necessarily set up to do the D-Machine grind either.
Right, no access to weak because no food, no tele. This is, if you don't have access to any of the, more traditional grinds of your enterprise, go to LST4 and turn encounters on. You can run into encounters like this fairly commonly. Let's ignore the blaze that these game reviews are throwing out.
And really, that's the trick. Getting Rydia to nuke. Now we're set.
I don't know what you're talking about, Karma. That time was always there. It's fine. We'll fix it in post.
Wait, we have a post?
For the purpose of this conversation, yes.
Perfect.
And we see on Joe's side as well, going into this Roma's fight with the Dragon Whip on, that will put a level 50 Rydia at 30 agility, which is much better than 25.
Yeah, agility is the black magic of the free enterprise community. Well, you want to make sure that your agility is set up and just right, and how party order goes. And the best way to describe it is that it's black magic. As soon as you figure it out, you know it, but it becomes almost impossible to teach to someone.
It involves a lot of the worst kind of magic, math. But
aren't you an engineer and you say that's the worst kind of... Okay.
yes. It's honestly, once you understand it, it's not terrible, but because of Zeromus' agility, you could 20 to... If your anchor is at least 28 agility, it puts Zeromus down to RA2. So the worst thing you could be is at 27, because that leaves Zeromus as fast as possible while still slowing down your party. So being slightly below 28 leaves you with the worst of all worlds.
All right, but now Judge Joe has arrived at our Zeromus and is set up not quite as high levels as Possumorpheus was. I mean, his Yang is still going to be able to shrug off a direct nuke like nothing, but...
And honestly, so can Sid, because Sid is also a giant bundle of HP.
Yeah, I imagine we're going to see more hybrid strats. We're going to see probably Sid and Yang take some swings while we do the reflect nukes and whites from our white mages.
Yep, here come the white casts. Good use with Silk Web here, slowing Zeromus down to RA4. It's good to see Rosa casually walking off that counter nuke. Yeah, you were right. Looks like it's gonna be just full hybrid.
Just go fast as fast as you can. I mean, hybrids, when you only have, one nuke caster, a couple white casters, but you also have to keep, be ready to heal up. I think hybrid strats are a little bit faster, unless you have a dedicated 3 nuke / white casters plus 1 healer. I've not mathed it out. I know it's close though.
I know if you have the party for it, full reflect is faster than hybrid.
Yes, but it requires the party setup there.
Okay, with the hybrid, you have both your melee swinging away, and supplemented by some, admittedly, really good firepower from these mages.
Oh, absolutely. They're tearing into it. I gotta think we've already pushed into the second phase and we're getting ready for Meteos already. And here's Meteor. Crash, boom, bang. There we go. Looks like we have a final time of 1:34.19 on Judge Joe's side, so GG to Joe.
Ah, that was weird. Okay, headset decided to not behave, to disconnect temporarily. Can you hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you, and we can also. Here's Judge Joe coming in. GG's, Joe.
Thanks. So apparently it was do the